I think now is a good time to start. Wishing all of you a very good evening again. I'm Praneet. I'm the Associate Director of upGrad Abroad, the Study Abroad division of upGrad. I'm sure all of you are very familiar with what upGrad does. upGrad, essentially for everybody externally, is a unicorn, but I think what matters the most is not what it's valued at, but what we actually do. We're a higher educational organization that provides equitable, flexible, democratized access to studying abroad. And my role essentially is that I head the undergraduate business, but I also spearhead the university partnerships for upGrad Abroad. And because of my background in global education entrepreneurship, I'm extremely passionate and invested in the data and the insights around certain fields, certain courses, and the confluence convergence of business, technology, and what kind of courses will emerge new, what kind of courses are there. So I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough, a deep dive into how some of these business and tech courses really work along with each other. But remember that it's essentially woven together. It's a weave that the next 3 or 4 or 5 years will actually see, where business and technology will be woven, intertwined with each other, and will give birth to so many new fields like bioinformatics, health informatics. We talk about analytics and its role in finance, and analytics and its role in education. Almost every company now is fueled by data. So that is what I'm here to talk about, that which are some of these courses that make extreme amount of sense. Keep your questions flowing in. I think I will always wait for a couple of seconds after each slide when I present, and will love for any questions that come my way, and I will definitely keep answering. Sharing my screen now for you guys to view. Yes, so essentially, let's start one by one. I think the first thing I want to do is I want to make it super clear for you, which are the top 5 courses that you can ideally do after a Bachelor of Business BCom degree. Now, not every university in the world will accept you if you apply, but these are some of the 5 courses which I will eventually show you that more often than not will actually take you if you're applying. If you come from a business and technology background. Let's start one by one. So the first is pretty obvious. It's going to be the Master of Business Administration. The MBA, now I will of course take you through a few universities that upGrad has, but an MBA essentially is a management course. It's a role that equips you to be a leader, to equip you or give you hone your capabilities to become a manager, to become a CEO. So for you to get into the executive suite, for you to get into the CXO rank, but for also you to extremely build those capabilities that a manager essentially, or a business leader essentially needs. A Master of Business Administration and MIM are 2 different courses, though. Remember that MIM is more of a master's in management. MBA is more towards a leadership and an experiential coursework. So while an MBA is more for experienced individuals around the world from different domains altogether to come at one place and solve business challenges, study real case studies, work on research projects, work on real-time business problems, and solve them together, because they're all from different streams and would have different business ideas to solve a specific issue. So this is an experiential course. There's less text and more case studies or case practices, which you eventually solve through creating businesses. MIM is more of theory intensive. It's for fresh graduates who just move out of college. But remember, MIM is a typical managerial science course. MBA is more of a leadership course. MBA can have different specializations. Somebody asked me here, should we pick up a specialization when we're doing an MBA? 100% yes. MBA can have different specializations like healthcare, finance, accounting, HR, international marketing, engineering management, IT management, XYZ. One tip that I want to give you is if, especially if you're applying abroad, the chances of visa are slimmer if you choose something that does not at all align with where you're coming from. So if in case you've done a BCom degree, you should of course pick up a Master of Business Administration and Finance, or you should pick it up in international finance or international business management or XYZ. But there has to, so, and if you're a Bachelor of Engineering grad, then of course a Master of Business Administration with engineering management or IT management or analytics make more sense. Regardless, an MBA in analytics and MBA in business and intelligence would always make sense for anyone, regardless of where you're coming from. The second top and the most sought after course is an MBA in STEM. How many of you know what STEM is? STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Essentially, there are different courses across the world that are STEM designated, which means they are essentially required in the next 10 to 20 years to advance research, to advance new age concepts, to advance new age technologies, to make sure that, you know, there's more immersion, there's more um, influence of technologies on almost every industry. So STEM courses are generally more sought after. These will always have a higher component or a specific ratio of mathematical courses or engineering courses or technology courses or science courses. But essentially, an MBA in STEM would mean an MBA in business analytics or MBA in IT management or MBA in cybersecurity. This means holding or, you know, sort of building your capabilities to hold the leadership role within a cybersec division, or for a company that provides IT security or a digital forensic solution to any startup or corporation across the world. Essentially, um, if there's a tech division in your company and you're expected to lead it, an MBA role would normally make sense. So MBA STEM is also useful for someone who comes from an engineering or science background and would rather want to upskill himself or herself, not for the research or scientific standpoint, but from a standpoint of becoming a leader. So MBA STEM is mostly around IT. Uh, However, MBA STEM can also mean healthcare STEM. MBA STEM can also mean fintech PA. MBA STEM could also mean organizational psychology. Our MBA STEM, which I will take you through soon, would have an MBA in finance, would have an MBA in industrial psychology. I will explain you what industrial psychology is eventually. MBA in analytics, MBA in IT management. So all of this is now new age. The third course that I've seen a lot of you curious when read about is, yes, 100% a BBA BCom graduate can actually enter into an MSc in business analytics or simply analytics. While business analytics is more tuned or more intensive towards the school of thought that how does a business grow through insights, how does a business grow through extrapolating inferences from a constant or recurring stream of data that comes from different data points that they've put throughout the value chain, and what can we make out of it? How can you enable any organization to make a better, more informed decision by virtue of the data they receive day in and day out, right? So yes, a BBA BCom graduate can definitely pick up. If you've got a lot of mathematical courses, it always helps in your BBA BCom. But even if you don't, there are organizations like ourselves, upGrad, which allow you to do a foundation course, a short foundation course, and then enter into these courses. Now, the benefit of upGrad is that when you're doing the foundation course from a BCom or BBA to get into a data science or business and analytics course, the benefit is that the foundation that you do eventually helps you waive off 3 out of 10 courses, 3 out of 12 courses sometimes, from your actual coursework in the US or UK or Canada or anywhere else. So essentially, the portion you do in India just to make yourself eligible also just gets your courses waived off from the actual course, right? So that's one thing. Then there's this other new age course, which is called the MSIT and Administrative Management. I'm sure you guys know what project management does. A project manager actually essentially uh, predominantly handles IT based clients, or let's say any service based clients, and coordinates within his or her technology team or business team to create a solution for them. So not only do they delegate different parts of the solution that you eventually want to give to your client amongst the team, but project managers also are the key lead of the project. They own the project. So they are the CEO or the chief for each project that they take up from a client. That's essentially an MBA, but it's just that a project management MS would eventually need you to have some tech skills that you build, because eventually you need to understand the requirement from the client. So project management is also one of the most sought after fields. MS ITAM, Information Technology and Administrative Management, covers policy making. It for any look, there are two or three things which I want you guys to understand. The world is moving at a really fast pace. Technology, as much infusion of technology as there is at this point, will only grow 3x in the next 1 year. A lot of transactions, a lot of computing is going on cloud now. There's a heavy flux of businesses and transactions which are non-commercial also happening on cloud. With that, a lot of new fields, are birthed. One of which is cybersecurity. One of which is that a lot of physical brick and mortar setups are moving into a digitally transformed enterprise, right? So essentially, then what happens is you need talent to handle those, which is when business talent comes into the picture, because you have to understand the business and economic side of it. How do you make a scale economy? How do you make, how do you make a transformative model of business when you convert or when you transform a brick and mortar setup to a completely digital setup? So ITAM is that course. It's a combination of MBA, project management, and MSIT. This makes absolute sense. That's the fourth best course after BBA. And then, of course, I think this is something that I don't even need to explain. Data science is not only for BBA, it's almost for anybody in the world. This is, in fact, the future of the world. I think another 50% of the companies in the next 1 year, whether in India or outside, will run their decision making solely and solely based on data rather than human gut or experience led. Of course, experience led decision making is a huge part of what we do every day, day in and day out. But I think data is the new fuel. It's the new currency for each company to transact and create value. In fact, if you know blockchain, if you know metaverse, if you know machine learning, if you know IoT, for all of this is essentially DS to a lot of extent. So there's other course called Applied DS. Applied DS also makes sense to a BBA BCom graduate, essentially because this is how does data science apply in the field of healthcare? How does data science apply in the field of business? How does DS apply in the field of finance or education? Or so essentially that a business and commerce graduate is more likely to take this up than not. And it makes more sense because they understand the economical sense of it. They understand the business sense of things, and they would know that which field of analytics or which field of DS to pitch to which business to create more revenue for them, to create more value for them. Because at the end of the day, every business thinks like that. They're eventually interested to know what technology are you selling us and how will it help us turn around our business. With that being said, I think my idea for Applied DS is that Applied DS makes a lot of sense. We've got a university, in fact, in New York, which is called Clarkson, and Clarkson has an Applied DS, which would essentially be a Master of Science, a little technical, but you can apply after BBA become. But it tells you how does a business grad get into cloud computing, how does a business grad get into business modeling, the typical organizational strategy or organizational development team of a company. How does a BBA grad get into the design in engineering or design development using data science as the foundation, then artificial intelligence, pattern recognition, human computer interaction, machine learning. So many different things that you can do, but that's what applied does. And of course, bioinformatics is a huge part of it, right? All of these health tracking or health analytical um, softwares that we normally use on our watches and everything. So I think before I move to the countries and which country needs what, I mean, so when I cover each country, I essentially want to tell you that how open is that country to accept you if you're a BBA, BCom graduate, and which kind of uh, master's courses will make sense. But I think just before that, I just want to take up a few questions. I'm a second year undergrad student, a Bachelor of Economics with specialization in MBA research. I think you should definitely go for analytics. Germany, future of business. Well, Germany has got the aircraft manufacturing industry, the automobile industry, the design industry, the production industry, heavy engineering industry, heavy manufacturing industry. It's called consultants, a lot of consultants. It's got a huge banking industry. It's got a huge startup industry. It's got a huge entrepreneurially led fintech ventures. Uh, it's the world's fourth largest economy, I think. It's called almost everything, but I think a large chunk of it is consulting. And consulting is a huge industry just because there's a huge uh, automobile engineering, manufacturing, design industry. And essentially they need to be consulted. They need to be told how do you how do you build your organizational strategy and all this. So where that's where a lot of roles actually exist. Can I do event management to BBA? Yes, why not? Is there any special courses to Power BI? Yes, a business and analytics MBA or MS. Essentially, I also want you guys to know what's the difference between MS Business Analytics and MBA. MBA is essentially about 60% of the MBA curriculum is going to be more or less about management, about leadership, about supply chain, about um, handling people, handling teams, handling finance, handling marketing. So it's a very generic curriculum based on how do you handle the organizational enterprise growth, and then followed by about another 30 or 40% of a specialized field. It could be business analytics, it could be international marketing. So that depends then what you want to deep dive on. But and essentially MSc and BA or business analytics would be a typical core tech bound or an analytics bound software theory tools that you learn, Power BI, Tableau, XYZ, would be the underlying technologies that you understand or read about, would be the different applied sciences to it, would be the different um, concepts or the other foundational tools and languages that you need to learn for it. So MBA is more leadership intensive, while MS is more theory and research intensive. What eligibility is required into a data science program if you're on third year college? I think it's not much about third year or second year. It's just about that you need to have a foundation course in place, which upGrad helps you in India with. It's called IIIT, triple ITB, B as in for Bangalore, and that's the advanced certificate program in data science. All you need to do is score enough, and then you can move to UK, US, Germany for that matter, and eventually build a career there. I think I have answered a lot of these. I'll go back to the country slides. So US is of course one of the largest economies in the world. If you do a STEM MBA in the US, it gets you a 3-year visa. US at this point would need a lot of finance accounting folks, would need a lot of um, business analytics talent, would need a lot of data science talent, would need a lot of um, I think a lot of IT management MBA, a cybersecurity MBA. These things is what the US needs at this point. Healthcare management is a huge field in the US, and the starting salaries of MBA grads after BBA BCom or MS Business Analytics grad after BBA BCom is going to be about north of about $100,000. Then you've got the United Kingdom. Uh, it's the fifth I mean, now it's the sixth largest economy. India is the fifth largest economy in the world. UK makes a lot of sense for um, if you would like to do MBA, if you would like to do MSc Global Business Management. Even the UK will also allow you to do an MSc Data Science after your BBA. It should be absolutely fine. Um, UK, but remember, universities don't directly let you enter. You have to go through a foundation course like the one that upGrad does with Triple IT Bangalore for about 6 or 7 months, and then you can eventually move to the UK. UK is a great industry for finance. UK is a great industry for international business. UK is a great industry for consulting. UK is a huge industry uh, for supply chain, in fact. Then we've got Germany. Germany, of course, like I mentioned, is the fourth largest economy in the world. For entrepreneurial or startup mindset, or in case you have that, I think Germany should be the best choice. Not only is it easy to run a startup, but it's also very sensible because Germany is a leading economy. It's a thriving economy, bigger than India, and Germany has a lot of industries, including consulting, banking, engineering, machinery, all of that. Germany would give you 18 months job search visa followed by a proper work visa. Canada is, of course, the number one country, the ninth largest economy. Canada would make more sense if you would like to do MBA in supply chain, if you would like to do MBA in IT management, if you would like to do MBA in project management, um, if you like to do MBA in consulting or finance. All of these make a lot of sense. Then you've got Australia. Australia makes a lot of sense for taxation. Australia makes a lot of sense for data science. Australia makes a lot of sense for healthcare management. Australia makes a lot of sense for social work because it's on this skilled occupation list, which means you can find a job easily in Australia. Accounting makes sense because you get a CPA. Finance makes sense because you get a certified financial analyst license, CFA, and you get 2 to 3 years of work visa. And then finally, I will start covering the universities with you. The first university that I wanted to feature where you can easily enter into for your BBA BCom is called Golden Gate University. It's in San Francisco downtown in the lap of Silicon Valley. And Golden Gate University has an MBA Industrial Organization Psychology. Now, you would ask me, what is in? Can I know by raise of hands, how many of you are from the background of psychology here? If anyone is here at all who would like to study psychology. Okay, I don't see anyone. So there is. So industrial organization psychology makes so much more sense than doing a Master of Science in Psychology. Here's why. If you want to build your career as a clinical psychologist or in clinical psychology, you can't do with just a bachelor's degree. You can't just do with a master's degree. You have to earn a license, which comes after sufficient years of um, experience or the industry practice. So MBA Industrial Organization Psychology or MBA Organizational Psychology, as you will also hear it often in some universities, essentially means that how do you work around with the behavioral aspect or component of your workforce to increase or enhance the business outcomes? How do you understand? How do you make sense of how the human psyche works? How the human mind works? How the human mind responds to rewards recognition, to the carrot and stick model, to different cultural or organizational changes, soft and hard, and how do you strategize around that, keeping in mind that how does the the labor market respond to different changes in the organizational structure. And so at the end of the day, it's wielding psychology to enhance the business outcomes of or you from your workforce. That's so Golden Gate University has an MBA. All of them are STEM, which means you get a 3-year work visa: MBA Finance, MBA Industrial Organizational Psychology, MBA Business Analytics, and MBA IT Management. What Golden Gate University also does is Golden Gate University allows you to do a straight Master of Science Business Analytics course. Straight, you don't even have to do MBA. You can just do an MS Business Analytics after BBA BCom. Golden Gate University with upGrad has about 70% scholarship. So the end, the end portion costs you at least 20-30 lakhs cheaper with upGrad. Then we've got Clark University. Clark University is in Worcester, Massachusetts. Clark University gives an MS in data analytics, MS in project management, and MS in IT. If you but you can, as a BBA grad, you can apply to Clark. Clark is one of the top 100 universities in the US. Very well sought after, but Clark can only entertain you if and only if you have sufficient work experience in data analytics or data science. But Clark with upGrad gives you $30,000 of scholarship, which means essentially you study at Clark in under 12 lakh rupees. Now, except Golden Gate, every university that I will cover is linked to IMT Ghaziabad, which is an AACSP CAT percentile 90 school. And then we've got Triple IT Bangalore, which is India's #1 tech school. Both of these are our partners. So when you study with them, you can move to any of these universities. I'll take you through them. So Clark I've taken. Clark is project management, data analytics, and IT. Then we've got Johnson Wales, which has an MBA IT program, MBA in IT management, which is also a STEM MBA, right? JW has 96.8 graduate employability rate. Then we've got, remember, the MS ITEM course, the IT administrative management course, which is a good mix of MBA, project management, and IT. Seattle makes so much sense. The headquarters of Amazon, Microsoft, Starbucks is in Seattle. So Amazon, Microsoft, Starbucks not only recruit from these universities, but they are one of the potential or the largest employers in the state of Washington. Seattle as a city also has huge number of plants of Meta, which is Facebook's parent company, and Google. They've got large campuses from these two companies. There are almost 25,000 jobs. So Central Washington University is very near to Seattle. And like I said, Amazon, Boeing, Microsoft, Starbucks, T-Mobile, Expedia, all of these are recruitment partners. And CW is ranked 1 in the state for the value of the, for value for money that you spend on your fee structure. In CW, you actually get 12 credits waived off when you transfer from upGrad. So CW will have an MS ITEM and data analytics as a specialization. So it's essentially a combination of 4 things: data science, IT, MBA, and project management, which is why it makes so much sense. Then we've got University of Roehampton, which is in London. Roehampton actually is that university that will offer you data science. You can do an MSc data science after BBA BCom. You just need to have a 50% mark and you are good to go. Roehampton is in southwest region of London and is ranked at a very top position, especially in the UK. It's #1 for its research, is #1 as a best modern university. 77% of all research submitted by University of Roehampton as being world leading, which explains you that the university has a lot of academic focus. Roehampton will give you a data science. Roehampton will give you an MBA without work experience. In fact, the MS ITEM does not need work experience and needs a 50% in your bachelor's. JW will need 55%, does not need work experience for MBA. Golden Gate does not need work experience for MBA. it's always appreciated and appreciable, and we value it, but it's not a hygiene requirement. Roehampton also does not require it. Then it comes to ISM, the International School of Management in Germany. This is one of the top 10 business schools in Germany. Super affordable. It hardly is 10 to 11 lakhs for Indian students. Um, ISM has multiple campuses in Dortmund, Munich, Berlin, and whatnot. So ISM would have an MBA, which needs 2 years of work experience. But if you graduate from ISM, your starting salaries are about 56,000 euros, which essentially means you fulfill the German blue card requirements. Blue card is an immigration requirement, which means if you have the blue card, it's so much easier for you to get the German PR, right? Of course, ISM is FIBA accredited and approved, state approved, which means any student who goes out of or graduates out of ISM can straight away go to a technical university in Germany, which are uh, almost over capacity. But it's, the ISM is at that level where it can match the curriculum of a typical government technical university in Germany. Then we've got University of Europe that takes you that takes you as an MS data science student if you can complete 1 year with us from Triple ID Bangalore online. UE will take you. UE has a 93% employability rate, but also UE has good partners like IBM, W, Facebook, and Amazon Web Services, and HubSpot. University of Europe Applied Sciences MBA is also going to be around the corner, but for now we've got MSDS in Munich. Then we've got University Canada West in Vancouver. University Canada West gives you an MBA, so you can go to downtown Vancouver and start your MBA. Now, the good part is if you want to study management with us, all of these courses are IMT Ghaziabad articulated, and all of the tech courses like project management, data science, analytics, IT administration management are all triple IT Bangalore accredited, which means even if you're a BBA BCom student, you don't directly have to go to data science you don't directly have to go for a data science course to a university abroad. Rather, you can do a foundational course with upGrad that puts you in that position where you can then um, you're more receptive when you go on campus because you know the background. uh, UCW gives you an MBA with over 8 specialization fields. So it's in Vancouver. In all of these, the thing that I wanted to mention the most was that uh, essentially you not only save time, but you save a lot of money, and you can eventually pick at least one of these 5 courses because these are some of the world's leading courses right now that accept you after BBA BCom. I would love to take questions. I'm a BCom graduate with 52% score in 2017. Which course would you suggest to me? And it would be better if it's a short number. Look, from the visa aspect, I would suggest that you go for an MBA in business analytics if you've had a sufficient work experience. If not, then go for a business informatics course. That basically means business intelligence, but that's more of applied BI, where you can go to different industries like healthcare, education, or XYZ, and then tell them that you can extrapolate insights and help you make better decisions. Um, so that is my pick. Which country is good for MIM program? I think Germany makes a lot of sense for MIM. France makes a lot of sense for MIM. We've got a German program. For all of you who are sitting on this call, our MS Computer Science program, our MIM program in IU Germany is now available if you want to do it starting the last year of your college, even if you're in bachelor's. I am taking out this time to answer any questions that you may have. Please ask me. If I'm interested in finance, you should take, so Sriram, you should take up an MBA in finance by Golden Gate. It should fit here. It's a STEM MBA. Then let's go to, for automobile sector, which course to take? I think you can pick up the IU Germany engineering management courses. I still think that makes more sense. because architecture say you can move to analytics, you can move to data science, but the point is it gets difficult for us to explain, difficult for you to explain during the visa interview that, what is this, this strange transition that you're making, right? If I do MBA 1 year, is it worth it instead of two years? Yeah, I mean, MBA essentially, like I said, is an experiential leadership cohort where you try to solve real world challenges. You study a lot of case practices. You work on different industry driven projects. You come from a different, a lot of different, you form a palette of different backgrounds, which helps you form or resolve things by creating the industry out of it. XYZ. Yeah. So 1 year MBA is absolutely fine. The point was that 2 years is just a stretch, because at the end of the day, the larger component is that you develop an extreme ability to lead, and second, you understand expansion of international business on a global context, and then third, they make you understand that you pick up a specialized field, and then they give you some basic or advanced knowledge on that field so you can lead from the front lines that division. Because look, as a leader, you also need to know how does the division work for you to make it work. MSc fintech, so blockchain is that immutable ledger technology that you have where you store something, because so many transactions are now happening on blockchain. I think blockchain is actually worth pursuing. MSc fintech will help you get there. Um, and essentially, that just means that you need to learn more about the program, that you need to learn more about the application of blockchain, and which is why you should study it. Could you give insight about MSc product? Marketing, should I aim it as a second year BBA student with marketing? Yes, absolutely sure. You should do that. If I do 2 years of 1 year, is this done? After BCom, like I told you, analytics makes sense, data science makes sense, IT management makes sense, business intelligence makes sense, all that is there. I am a second year undergrad student of like I said, I think business analytics or business intelligence is going to make more sense for me. Please explain international business. International business is essentially taking a small homegrown business out in London, for example. Then from London, I take it to Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester, Newcastle. And then from all of that, I start expanding into European Union. From European Union, I start expanding into America, all of that. So a lot of companies, because they're changing from a brick and mortar setup, like a physical setup, to a digitally transformed setup, they're looking to hire talent that can help them understand business from the local reality aspect of it, and tell them or guide them, advise them that, hey, here's the business I want to set up. Here is what I need to change about it locally. So what is my strategy going to be to make it work? And here are all the components that can stay as such. Is HR specialization suitable for humanities? I think you're trying to move towards psychology, and that's okay. As long as you guys are cognizant and aware of the general career trajectory that you want to build for yourself, anything that falls in line with that decision, anything that is aligned or consistent with where you want to go, would make sense to me, and I will approve it. I get that. I think as a BCom accounting and finance student, what makes more sense is that you can easily go in for an MBA in finance accounting, which is a STEM MBA, or you can take up a MS business analytics, or you can just pick up an MBA with business analytics and specialization. Ashish, I hope I answered you. About Ireland for MIM and supply chain. I think supply chain is one of the most sought after industries in the world. I think supply chain is extremely inevitable, essential in almost every part of business throughout the value chain. And with so much of trade happening now more than ever, I really understand that, because the supply chain crisis and the general mobility crisis that that the world is still recovering from. Supply chain is a really sought after skill at this point to understand how do you keep your value chain recurring, how do you keep your supply recurring, how do you keep assessing the supply and demand gap, and when do you know, when do you not know. So it's more of supply chain with predictive modeling makes more sense. Supply chain with data analytics makes more sense. So because that is what it should be like, right? Um, I think I've answered all the questions. I'm just going to drop my email. So MIM, Masters in Management, remember to answer you again, Hareen, no, this is an anonymous and you don't know what it is. But MIM is a management course for a fresh graduate to get into a deep dive science and theory of management. Whereas MBA is an experiential leadership course which has 10 years, 6 years, 7 years of experience. They both get taught still the same thing, but just that uh, the general cohort kind or quality or formation makes it a different learning experience. What should be the expected CGPA to apply abroad? So at least 55% is what every university demands. University Canada West is going to be okay with 50. ISM is going to be okay with 50, the International School of Management. UE is going to be okay with 50. The European University of Applied Sciences is going to be okay with 50 as well. So you need not worry. I think operations management, financial management. I think both of them are good. Financial management would be my pick. Um, so Ireland is good for supply chain. Yeah, I think MIM uh, is a great course. The good part for us is that in Germany, when we do MIM, you can actually do the course without graduating. So you can do it in the last year. Of course, to transfer abroad, you still need to produce one semester, score, and it should be fine. Ireland is good for supply chain. And also, when you do give the semester one transcript, you also need the bachelor's degree, and then you can transfer abroad. So Ireland is a booming industry. Ireland is actually a good economy, a healthy economy after Germany, France, one of the most sought after economies. And Ireland is a good market. You can do that. Gap years don't have much effect. Dikshita, the point is, look, MIM is anyway for a fresh graduate. It's not for experienced folks. For experienced folks, go for MBA. MIM is just understanding that if I want to take a managerial role, what is essentially the theorems, the paradoxes, the concepts, the principles that I need to know of management intensively that will help me be a better manager, or that will help me build a better, stronger organization and create create a very cohesive setup. MBA is experiential led. MBA is more solving challenges in the real world, in the real time. And it's more about reflection on different solutions in the past and which business models will make sense, which ones will not, and creating enough enterprises for you to hone your business skills, right? So MBA gap years are okay, because at the end of the day, everybody knows that MBA is a superlative degree. So you even may want to wait for 5-6 years. But right now, so many universities like our university partners, except Germany, they all ask for 2 or 3 years of work experience, which you should have. Can I do the MBA after 2 years, but in different field? Yes, you can do the MBA after 2 years in different fields. General MBA and MBA in project management. I think MBA in project management, US and Germany both are good options. Germany, because look, project management is mostly for tech clientele of SaaS companies, software as a service companies, or companies that source or consult you know, that source or consult IT companies. So project management makes more sense. It's a very employable course, and project management skill set is actually one of the most coveted skill sets in the world right now. I think that brings me to the end of it. My colleague Arushi has in fact sent a few links that we would like you to browse through. upGrad Abroad gives you a lot of scholarships to get you to study at a more affordable price abroad. Here is my email address. Feel free to write to me at any point. I will give you clarity on any country, on any university, on any course. Absolutely, yes. I wish you guys all the very best. Please feel free to ask me anything on an email. Just send me an email. And eventually, I think one of the other things that I would like you to go home with is while you are building your career or while you're doing your business or commerce degree, one of the other things that I need you to know is have enough business analytics courses running or sign up with us, do it. But you should ideally at this stage have at least some kind of tech experience, whether it's IT or cybersecurity or network security or analytics or just I think if you don't have much interest in technology, then just knowing these two tools, Power BI and Tableau, is more than enough. Tableau and Power BI are more than enough. I will just write them for you. Tableau and Power BI. These are two extremely important tools that you must know. And because data analytics comes from it, if you want to study data science, upGrad Abroad is the best possible platform for you to spend about 2 lakhs or so and then do a proper triple IDB 8 months, 9 months long course. Supply chain is a good sought after field. I mean, I'm super happy about it. Supply chain is what the world banks on with so much of mobility and logistical crisis. Supply chain has been heavily in demand to plan an equitable share, equitable spread of resources across the world and to understand the geospatial insecurities of um, different parts of the world and the dynamics. And so how do you actually handle what and when you're trading with another country fellow. So I hope I have been clear to you. I wish you guys all the best. Please feel free to go down to upgrad.com. We're in Hyderabad today. Tomorrow we've got the Hyderabad Global Uni Experts and Admissions Fair. You're more than welcome to attend. It's at 10 a.m. at Vivanta by Taj Begumpet. And we would look forward to seeing you there in case you are from Hyderabad. All of our universities are coming there, and I will be there to explain you what the model is. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you. Thank you.